New at 6:30, in the last couple of years, college sports has changed dramatically as student athletes can now get paid. But that's also presenting many challenges, and that includes Washington State University. Our Alex Crescenti takes a look at the impact name, image, and likeness has on the school.
I got a $5 coupon off Domino's when I went to school down there, and so that was kind of our extent.
$5 off a pizza sure doesn't sound like a whole lot, but then again, college sports wasn't the same 40 years ago when Paul Sorenson was wreaking havoc on Pac-10 receivers.
We couldn't work when we went to school. We didn't have full cost of tuition. We didn't have any NIL stuff, and we pretty much were hungry by the end of the month.
Fast forward more than 40 years, and the game is bigger. The players are bigger. Let's go, and the money, well, you know where that stands. But the landscape changes so quickly, even current players see the impacts.
When I'm watching football, you don't realize all the inner workings that are going on. And so the biggest thing for me was NIL, and I think that started with a kicker over at UCF. But I remember seeing that on national television. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, you know, your degree is everything, and now you're giving that up for YouTube earnings and whatnot, and then just to see that snowball into what it is now.
When the NCAA changed its policy on student athletes making money, name, image, and likeness accounted for a reported $917 million in just the first year alone. But the schools still can't pay the players directly, so third-party collectives were set up as liaisons, if you will. And that's when Sorenson was called upon to help out his university once again.
The whole concept of Cougar Collective, basically we were asked by the institution to set up a collective because they saw this thing coming down the pipe. Where we had some money for the defensive backs, being at EB, that's kind of where we wanted to go. So threw it to the university, says, hey, how do we do this? How does this whole thing work?
Third-party organizations like Cougar Collective help connect athletes to various business opportunities. And even fans can contribute directly to players, helping them earn a little cash on the side.
You have to do Facebook likes, you have to show up in an appearance, you have to sell your jersey.
Now, more than 100 student athletes are under the collective umbrella. But with more money comes more problems.
With the collective itself, how much money do you bring in a given year?
It varies. I don't want to give out a number because then all of a sudden we're pigeonholed, but it's the lowest in the Pac-12, but it's growing. We would be 5th in the Mountain West right now in the collective. There's 4 schools in the Mountain West that have better collective in terms of funds and fundraising than what Washington State has.
Washington State also ranks 11th in the Pac-12 in total revenue and donor contributions, creating a difficult decision for boosters.
The reality is the donors we've typically gone to over the course of the last 18 months now have other options relative to going directly to our student athletes, and there are impacts that we're going to feel.
And then, of course, there's good old-fashioned tampering.
We've had guys contact our players' parents. We had a coach from another school contact one of our players and offer him NIL, a coach. Okay, so there's more things going on behind the scenes that you can't even imagine.
In your 5 years here, did you ever have anyone that reached out into your DMs or called you, or other schools, coaches? Did that ever happen?
I mean, yeah, but obviously I think, it's like against the rules. So for me, it was very easy just not to reply to it. But again, like you said, it's so crazy how that's changed in recruiting now. Like you said, the businesses can use that because they can have alumni who went to that school and whatnot. But I think, again, if you're using it as a recruitment tool, now we need to figure it out a little bit.
There's definitely ways that people will find a way to reach out to you. It's not that it's illegal, but it's not that it's legal, but if people want to, they'll find a way.
So it seems like your services were requested at some point, possibly.
Yeah, but we're Cougs, so it's like, come on now.
If it hasn't become obvious by now, NIL and the transfer portal aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And universities like WSU can't afford to wait for Congress to bail them out.
I told someone, I said, it's not college basketball anymore. I said, you're right, it's not. It's not what it was, and I don't think I'll ever go back.
And refusing to adapt will only hurt from a competitive standpoint. So what can Washington State do to keep up?
And right now we're behind. And I think that's the reality. I'm okay with saying that because we got to be solution-based. We got to lock arms, and we got to find ways to push forward.
Combine that with the Pac-12 dissolving, and that makes for an uncertain future. But the students, coaches, and alumni see unity as their greatest strength moving forward.
It's not a fun battle. It's not a fun battle when you're getting your teeth kicked in. But you know what? I'm a Coug, man. I'm used to fighting. We were picked dead last in 1981. We played Washington for the Pac-10 championships in Seattle. So it can be done. Cougars have always rallied. They've always figured out a way to compete.